Hello, everybody. I am Giovanna Shevchak, and I will be presenting a law analysis on the Elvis Act. The Ensuring Likeness, Voice, and Image Security Act, enacted in 2024, otherwise known as the Elvis Act, is a state law in Tennessee that protects musicians from AI exploitation and bans unauthorized use of their voice. This is a monumental law to be put in place because it marks the first artificial intelligence ban involving publicity rights, which was signed by Governor of Tennessee Bill Lee. Although there are complications with this law, as it leads to concerns revolving around a dramatic effect and unnecessary lawsuits, it still has a predominant positive impact. The Elvis Act AI, aims at protecting originality in musicians' work and will potentially evolve into federal copyright law if the limitations get rearranged. This Likeness Act, combating AI-generated public display, is effective in protecting and sustaining musicians' public image and integrity and character, improves its previous limitations with publicity rights, and protects the right to freedom of speech while simultaneously holding individuals accountable for authorization. In this speech, I will discuss both pro and con sides of the Elvis Act and argue why the pro side is a more compelling argument and why it should be kept as a state law rather than federal. Furthermore, the strongest pro argument is in defense of a musician's intellectual property, as this law will hold those liable for exploiting the musician's image, voice, or name without their consent and prohibits false advertising. According to an article, AI Likeness Protections Legislative Update, published by Monk Wilson Mandela Law Firm, it would protect individuals like Taylor Swift from false use of their image that can paint them in a negative light, such as her false political endorsement for President Donald J. Trump. Her public image is crucial to how her audience interacts with her and her music. If her music or someone else's gets taken out of context and manipulated with deep fakes, the message communicated to their audiences are heavily affected because it harms their credibility. Bill Donahue, author of Billboard article, Elvis Act legal experts warn Tennessee's new AI law is too broad, argues that the law improves its previous limitations with publicity rights and creates more awareness on the issue at hand, which should be taken into serious consideration. What do you guys think? Should others have the right to imitate your voice, image, and likeness through the means of artificial intelligence? In contrast, the strongest con argument is the equivocation of how the law is written because it is more of a likeness issue and the potential restrictions of the First Amendment in some cases. According to Joseph Fishman, law professor at Vanderbilt University, he argues the relevance of this law is small since there is more concern with false accusations, especially with cover bands and simply taking inspiration from an artist or sample of their work. According to Jennifer Rothman, law professor at the University of Pennsylvania, she states the law is an overreaction, which could make matters worse. She's arguing that the law is placing restrictions on freedom of speech and expression. Rothman uses Taylor Swift as an example as well, when her record label had authority over what she did with her music and prohibited her from releasing her own material, which restricted her publicity rights. If the unauthorized use of the likeness law gets banned in other states, this would create mass controversy in the music industry because the label would still have power over how the artist uses their own music. Ultimately, both the pro and con sides are viable and should remain a state issue. The pro side strongly supports why the law is effective and prevents damage to musicians' reputation. But when was a musician's reputation never ruined? In fact, Taylor Swift had an album called Reputation, which had topics mentioning chaos in the media, and the media will always thrive on likeness. The context of the unauthorized use of one's image or voice is most important, and it depends on the severity. As artificial intelligence becomes more prevalent in modern society, it is best to promote a law that bans or tries to prevent and take safe measures on our personal information and humanity. A few questions I have for everyone is, do you think that the Elvis Act should be banned in more US states? What kind of backlash do you think it would bring? Do you find this law to be a relevant issue? These are my references. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you have a few takeaways and consider the rapid ramifications of artificial intelligence and small ways it could one day impact yourselves. Have an amazing day.